come home to the place where 400 years ago, African slaves were forcibly taken from and shipped to America. Well, some are taking Ghana up on its offer.
Ghana welcomes members of the African diaspora, many of whom don't know where their ancestors came from before being enslaved, to discover their root.
We are all part of the black race. We are all Africans, right? Whether you're an African in America, whether you're an African in Brazil, whether you're African in the Caribbean, if you have a high level of melanin in your skin, you are from Africa.
So you might think that everyone is invited to the year of return. No, everyone is not invited to the year of return, or was not invited to the year of return, or rather right now in Ghana, because there is a vetting process that is happening in Ghana. When you come to Ghana, you have to be vetted. So these might include people who are trying to evade tax, people who are criminals, people who did wrong things in their country and are moving here. These are some of the things that Ghana is not trying to introduce there. However, the year of return is going to be significant because many people of African descent, people of African descent here in Africa who are living in the United States have complained that there is no connection between them and the African Americans. Yes, in as much as African Americans came from Africa through slavery to the United States, we all have different cultures, we have different history, so there is no connection. There is not that real connection between African Americans and Africans, and this year of return is going to help minimize the gap that exists between Africans and the African Americans. So this is why it is important that you as an African American, you may spare some time and move to Ghana, check Ghana. If you don't want to live there, just go there and see for yourself.
What is the process set aside for if it comes to residency or even citizenship? Is there a pathway for someone like myself?
There is a pathway for someone like you who would like to go in and start a life in Ghana. What we advise is take a trip to Ghana, learn about the culture, be with the people, see what business opportunities are out there for you, and then have that slow transition, because it's going to be very different for you coming into Ghana. So whereas our doors are open and we're saying come in, we're also saying take your time and do your due diligence, know what you're coming in to do. But the government has put a lot of things in place to receive African Americans. When you come in, when you go through the immigration processes, it's easier for you because...
So in this specific video, a group of African sisters are going to tell us more that we need to know about the year of return. So one of the things that we are going to learn from this video is, what is the year of return? I have noticed that many of African Americans don't really understand this year of return. They think moving to Africa is just like moving to Africa, like I can move here and go to another place. But no, it's different. African Americans are moving to Africa differently. It's not a vacation, it's not a retirement base. No, it's different. So the second thing is going to be why the president of Ghana is allowing visa-free for African Americans, and what benefit does this have for the African Americans? That is something that we are going to discuss, or the sisters are going to help us understand. Another thing is what's the significance of the year of return? What is the importance of this year of return? What's the importance of this year of return to Ghana, to the people of Ghana? What's the significance to its governments? What's the significance to its citizens, The last thing we are going to check on this video will be what's the impact of the year of return to the entire continent of Africa. I myself, as an African and as a Kenyan, I resided in the eastern side of Africa. The year of return was in an initiative that was started on the western side of Africa. So how does it affect me as an African generally? And it's so wonderful that we have experts in this video, and you as an African American is going to understand why it's important for you to understand the year of return, and why it's important for you to move back to Africa.
A massive marketing push to persuade African Americans and the diaspora to come home to Ghana, to visit, to invest, to live. And some will tell you the pitch is emotional and on point. Come home to the place where 400 years ago, African slaves were forcibly taken from and shipped to America. Well, some are taking Ghana up on its offer. And today we take a close look at the year of return. Rian Itangishaka, Ayenbio, and Tatenda Gumbo is back with us again this week. Hello, Tatenda.
It's good to be back with you, ladies.
It's fantastic to have you. Also with us is Angeline Addy. She is a spokesperson for the Embassy of Ghana here in Washington. Angeline, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Well, Ghana's Panafest is a biannual event meant to celebrate Pan-Africanism. This year, the festival had special meaning for international tourists hoping to connect with Africa during the year of return.
Angeline, I can't help but wonder who exactly is being invited. I see a lot of celebrities, American celebrities. We see a lot of excited Americans, of course, who are tourists, who have money. But who exactly is welcome to come to Ghana?
The year of return is open, first of all, is open to everyone, but specifically to the African American and people of African descent who live in the diaspora. What we're saying is that if you're from Africa or you have African descent, Ghana is open. Come home, explore the culture, discover your origin, be part of the nation building process, if you would. So the year of return is specifically for the African American and Africans in the diaspora.
So what caught me was, you know, they say there's a lot being said around if you are of African origin. So can people of the continent come as well? Are they as welcome?
Yes, anyone is welcome to come. Ghana has a strong culture. It has a lot of history. So there's a lot to learn when you come to Ghana. So really Ghana is open to everyone else and not just to the African American, because there's a lot of culture, there's a lot of traditions that you can learn, there's a lot of history. 75% of all the forts and castles in West Africa is located in Ghana, 32 of them in total, so
if
there's a lot to learn.
If someone's a refugee, if they're an asylum seeker, are they as welcome to come to Ghana?
They are welcome to come if they go through the right processes that the government has put in place to receive them, because we do have processes like every other country, rule of law. So we do have those processes. So definitely, if you are in trouble, you're seeking asylum, Ghana will not shut its doors to you. You're welcome to come in and go through the right channels, the immigration process and everything else, and you should be good.
So let's talk about the immigration process. If I am someone who's in the diaspora and I want to go to Ghana and I want to make that my home, what is the process set aside for if it comes to residency or even citizenship? Is there a pathway for someone like myself?
There is a pathway for someone like you who would like to go in and start a life in Ghana. What we advise is take a trip to Ghana, learn about the culture, you know, be with the people, see what business opportunities are out there for you, and then have that slow transition, because it's going to be very different for you coming into Ghana. So whereas our doors are open and we're saying come in, we're also saying take your time and do your due diligence, know what you're coming in to do. But the government has put a lot of things in place to receive African Americans. When you come in, when you go through the immigration processes, it's easier for you because of the year of return. They have made it easy for you to come in and then go through the paperwork and the process to become a resident in Ghana.
I actually think that the declaration of the year of the return from the African president, not just the Ghanaian president, but even the other African president, is a very important and honorable step to take. Because, I mean, for me, in my experience, I know the tensions that is between the Africans and the Americans.
Yes.
From the school system, going to school here, high school, middle school, college. And so when a president stands up and says, our sons of Africa are welcome to come back home, especially the African Americans who probably haven't felt that the system in the U.S. works for them. So I honored the call for them to feel like they have a place where they can actually start life and maybe prosper. So I think it's a positive thing.
And they do have a place where they can actually start life and prosper. And Ghana is saying that come home, we are prepared for you. When the president launched the campaign, he also put in place a committee to put the little details together. So Ghana is really ready. Ghana is open. Our doors are open to receive. And I do understand when you talk about the tension that exists. I have experienced it because I did some schooling here. And I think that that tension is experiential gap, because we have very different experiences.
The Africans have been told things about African Americans, and African Americans have been stripped of their identity and told lies about the continent. So
So what I suggest, and I always tell my friends, is that when you decide to live in America, take a course in Black history, because that opens you up to begin to understand what the African American has gone through to be here today. But when we come from Africa, when the African American sees us, they don't see, we don't connect because our experiences are so different and so vast. So I believe that the Year of Return is one of the ways that we're bridging that gap, because I don't know your story, but I've heard about you. You know, I am supposed to be part of you, but really am I? So these are the questions that...
Speaking of someone's story, I mean, is there any sort of vetting process to make sure that when people are coming, they're not coming because they're trying to escape maybe prosecution here or tax, that is part of tax evasion? Is there any sort of vetting process that you actually do know people's stories when they come?
There is a vetting process. I believe that the government has put in place structures and policies of who qualifies to come into the country. So, for example, if you are a criminal with a long history, your process will be very different from someone. So there are checks and balances in place to make sure that the people coming in are indeed who they say they are and coming to do what they claim they're coming in to do.
So, you know, I think the message has been very clear that no matter where you are, if you're of African descent, Ghana is open.
Yes. It's good that people come back and reconnect with their history, except nobody engaged Ghanaian citizens on the Year of Return. And so we haven't really even had a conversation about slavery and colonization ourselves, and so it is far removed from the population. So we know that there are people coming because we watch TV a lot. We see that American celebrities are coming, and it's great. You know, it says that Ghana is the happening place, but I don't think if you stop somebody on the streets of Accra and said Year of Return, they would be able to explain it to you. They would be able to tell you the significance of it and what it means.
And so that was Ghanaian radio host and journalist Nana Asante there talking about giving her assessment of the Year of Return. And of course, she speaks to Ghanaians on a daily basis. What do you make of that assessment? And do you think it is sort of accurate?
I can't say it's accurate because I don't know. But what I can say is that definitely there has to be a wider reach to the Ghanaian population to educate them about the Year of Return and what it means. And maybe there should be dialogue about slavery and what it meant for our brothers and sisters on the other side in the diaspora. So to that, I would say she definitely has a point if people don't know. And I think that in this regard, the government will do more to ensure that the conversation is far-reaching.
Oh my goodness, there's so much I've learned from this video. And also, another interesting thing is that not only is the African Americans invited to Ghana, but also other African countries. It means that I myself as a Kenyan, I can rush and move to Ghana. Because it's the Year of Return. It's not the Year of Return to the African Americans only. It's the Year of Return to the Black people. White people can go, but I didn't hear her say specifically. What she said is that anyone. So anyone includes everyone, right? So one of the points that the sister made, and I always also emphasize in this channel, is do your research. Don't just take your money, move to a country, and you know you've never done anything about it because people are moving there. Do your research. At least come and pay a visit and see for yourself. Is this really a place that I want to come and live? You should ask yourself at least once in a while. Come, see the culture, learn the culture, see if you will vibe in, because a place might be good to visit and a place might be not good to do what? To live. And that is what sister is trying to tell us here. You know, I find it very interesting that many African Americans don't know what is the year of return. Some of them, they're just moving to Africa because an idea of moving to Africa has just shown up. But no, moving to Africa is a project. Moving to Africa is something that some African Americans say that it was prophesied that African Americans will leave USA, where they were taken bondage, and they will return to their motherland, which is Africa. So the year of return is a fulfillment of a promise, of a prophecy, and the year of return is much more than we think it is. The year of return is not just the year of return as we may think of it. The year of return is an initiative to correct the wrongs. It's a form of reparations. According to me, it's a form of reparations where the African government have acknowledged their wrongdoings of selling African Americans, ancestors, of course it's their ancestors, to the white slaves, to the white slave masters. You know, to me, I think the year of return is a form of reparations. Yes, that's one of its significance. Also, the year of return is acknowledging that African Americans, we are one people. We shouldn't be divided like the West might want us to get divided, or the colonizers might want us to get divided. Also, I think the year of return is a way of visiting a place, is a way of identifying with the African culture, is a way of is just a way of learning, a way of identifying a culture of something, because you'll discover anytime an African Americans move to Ghana, they're always advised, always go to the Cape Coast Castle, because I'm told that Cape Coast Castle has that effect on the mind of those who has that effect on mind for those who visit that place. You are able to feel the pain of the ancestors. You are able to indeed understand what pain, and you might see how horrible it was. Without further ado, much has been said by the sister, and you, an African American who is looking forward towards moving to Africa, I hope this video is helpful to you and you're able to understand moving to Africa is not just moving to Africa. It is an initiative. It is a prophecy being fulfilled. So we are living in the prophetic times. That's all for today. So kindly do subscribe to the channel. Be a member of my Patreon. You can always support the channel by being a member of the Patreon. Choose whichever amount you want to share with me. I will still appreciate. So let's dive into the next video.